Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the eighth episode of the Keyfob modeling. Um, Today, we are going to try to emboss the logo onto our Keyfob here. As you can see it here, it looks like a gingerbread frosting thing. I've downloaded vectorized curve model of the Volvo logotype, and you are allowed to do so too. Just make sure that you get curves of good quality, and that can be a bit tricky sometimes, and sometimes the curves are really bad quality, and you will end up with messy surfaces. These are good, I know, so we're going to work with that. And the first thing I want to do, I'm going to turn off those edit points, clean it up a bit, is to move and scale this into the correct position. And we're then going to create some surfaces around it. So I go pick object. I've already grouped all of these curves into one object, and then go scale, bring it down to roughly the size I want, and then use the move command to move it into place. Slightly too big, so if we zoom in and try to first place it correctly and then bring down the scale somewhat. And scale it somewhere in that area, I would say. Oops. Correct one. Oh, something like that, I think. So pick nothing would turn off the canvas image so you can see it clear, something like that. This is the text I want to emboss to make it stand out from this surface right here. And in order to do so, we need to move it into the correct height to begin with. I'm then going to extrude these curves into surfaces and let them stick out from that surface right there. So I want to look at this from the side view, and I'm going to hit F7 to place my logo in the Z direction also. So I pick object, pick all the curves, move, use my right mouse button to move it upwards just under the surface right here. And go back with F8 to the perspective view. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to need a vertical vector to extrude all of these curves along. So I'm going to make a new curve under curves. New curves, UCV curve. Snap it onto one of the letters here and make a second CV point straight up in the Z direction. And I do that by clicking my right mouse button. And then I get a straight line parallel to the Z axis. I can now go pick nothing, pick object again to select all of these curves, then hit surface and swept surfaces and extrude. I've already selected my curves, so I go and then click on the vector. That gives me surfaces that stands out. Now, this is a bit too far. You probably realize that too. This is one of the beauties with having construction history on some of the commands in AWS. You can always go back and change the curves that were used to create the actual function here. And in this case, I use my vertical vector with two CV points. So if I pick one of the CV points and move it in the Z direction, like so, the surfaces will update. So if I go back to the side view with F7 and bring that line down so it barely goes above the surface here, something like that. I'm guessing now. I could always update that later. Go back to perspective with F8 and have a look at what we see here. I'm going to shade the entire model up and see. And that looks pretty good, doesn't it? If I want to change this now, I can always grab this CV point right here, move it up or down to make it stand out more or less. But I think maybe something like that. Now, what I also want to do is to cover the holes in all of these letters that you see. This is a completely planar logo that we see. So I could use the command surfaces, planar surfaces, and set plan, and click on the curves that are in the same plane. So I click on each and every one of these curves. Like that one, that one. And once I have an enclosed area, I hit the space bar and I get a surface. And now I put a lid on that one. I do the same thing for all the other letters. I'm going to pause the recording, not to bore you with that. And voila, here we are with our embossed Volvo logo. Now, in order for this to show up really well on a rendering, I want to slightly round off all of these sharp edges here. And this is where the round tool works really well. So first of all, I'm going to turn off the layers showing the surrounding geometry here. And so I shut up buttons, frame, and surfaces. Oh, I have a little sphere here in order to mimic that little LED light. The frame. You can see it right there. I'm going to put that one into our frame layer to make it disappear as well. And then we use the round command here under surfaces, round, and set the parameters to something. Circle around 0.1 will do. And I'm going to use the box pick because that works beautifully on surfaces like these. Hit accept and go build. See what that does. Pick nothing, and we can see that all of the sharp edges are nice and smooth. So let's have a look at what this looks like in context. So turn on the frame, turn on surfaces, the buttons. Also, I'm going to toggle the model to really see that. It looks kind of nice, doesn't it? And that concludes the emboss feature. Thanks for listening or watching.